This video was made possible by today's sponsor, War Thunder. Hey everyone, how's it going? In Red and Blue, there is an extra gym, in quotation marks, in Saffron City, where you get a choice of two Pokemon, Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee. In Generation 2, they added Tyrogue, which I've already done a run with, and Hitmontop. And I'm curious, since they're all supposed to be kind of different and have their own strengths and weaknesses, which one is best at beating Gold, Silver, and Crystal? They all have 455 base stats, which isn't great, and they all have 50 base HP and 35 base special attack, which is abysmal, and then a very good 110 base special defense. All their other stats, though, it's not like the evolutions, they're just completely different. Hitmontop is kind of bulky, Hitmonlee is definitely more of a sweeper, although not with great speed, and Hitmonchan kind of fits in the middle, although, funny enough to evolve them, Hitmonchan is considered the defensive one, which is kind of strange since Hitmontop has much better base defense. On the surface, I had ideas which one would be the best and which one would be the worst, and I thought Hitmontop would be the worst. Balanced stats don't really suit this type of challenge, and its move pool, here's the thing. Hitmontop gets Rolling Kick, it gets it right away, and it's a decent fighting type move, but it gets nothing better. Triple Kick is just worse in my opinion, since it's not guaranteed to hit 3 times, and even if it does, it's 60 base power, which is terrible, and both moves have a chance to miss, with Rolling Kick a slightly higher chance. The rest of the move pool seemed like nothing to write home about, but there was one move I thought would be kind of interesting. We'll talk about that a little later, but for now, let's get started with the Hitmontop run. But speaking of fighting, today's sponsor, War Thunder, offers the most comprehensive vehicle combat game, which is available for free on all of PC, console, and mobile devices. And you heard me right, War Thunder has an all-new mobile version available both on iOS and Android. The mobile version is pretty impressive. It allows you to take the battles on the go, but still maintains a very high level of graphics. The controls are really intuitive, and the gameplay is still the same War Thunder you would come to expect on PC and console. And speaking of that amazing gameplay, War Thunder offers over 2,500 different planes, boats, and other vehicles from 10 major nations that you can use, from biplanes and armored cars of the 20s, all the way up to the super high-tech modern tanks and battle fighters of today. And one of the awesome things about War Thunder is it allows you to customize your vehicles with all sorts of colors, camouflages, and historical decals, making each vehicle feel like your own. The game is really immersive with high detailed graphics and sounds, making you really feel like you're taking control of some of the most awesome and powerful war machines of all time. If you're a fan of military history, there is no better game than War Thunder. Join the 95 million current players in awesome, epic PvP battles. I'm gonna be honest with you, it is this attention to detail and realism that really gets me. Listen, I love arcadey games. I play a lot of old video games, but something like this is just so cool to me. And if you want to join and play War Thunder, well, good news. I have a link that's available both in the description and pinned comment. New players, as well as those who haven't played for 6 months, are going to get an amazing bonus pack, an exclusive decoration, the Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, as well as 7 days of premium. This is only available for a limited time, so don't miss it. Alrighty, so you can see I'm in Sprout Tower, which in this game is actually optional. And you might be wondering, why am I here? Well, that's because the rules of this challenge, which I use to make the challenges both fun and somewhat replicable if you're interested in doing this yourself. One of the rules, because it's hard to navigate in the dark, is that getting Flash is mandatory. If every single Pokemon has to do it, then it's just part of the game, so that's a unique rule. I also will not be getting the TM for Hidden Power, since Hidden Power Rock would be fantastic, especially if it was base 70 power, and I don't actually know what my hidden powers are, but the point is I'm not using it. It's just too variable and too lucky. There's no way I can control for that. Otherwise, it's just the regular rules of my challenges. no items in battle, and just use one Pokemon. HM Pokemon are allowed. And as we've been talking, you might have noticed that Hitmontop is kind of struggling. Unsurprisingly, since it only has one move and it's a fighting move. But a bigger problem is that Hitmontop is actually going to learn another move before I finish Sprout Tower. And what this ended up resulting in, because the move is not an attacking move, it's focus energy, is that I actually ran out of power points and couldn't get Flash. So I'm actually going to have to come back. I have to get Flash. I don't have to get it right now. Usually it makes sense to get it right now, both for Falkner, a flying type gym leader, and because the Pokemon are weak, why waste time? But that's not a great start, and it's because Hitmontop just doesn't have a lot of power points and a fighting move. That misses. Despite that, however, you might be surprised to learn that Falkner is actually really easy. Because although it's a flying gym, Pidgey is a frickin' Pidgey, and it doesn't even know a flying move, and Pidgeotto's best move, well, didn't even get to use it, is Gust. And since they're normal types, the fighting move is just regular effective, and they're not very strong. It's interesting. We should do like a video of a tier list of like the best first gym leader, the best second gym leader, because I'm pretty sure Gold and Silver Falkner might be the weakest and worst first gym leader of all time. Like seriously, even as easy as modern Pokemon is, Pidgeotto being an ace is like really bad. But speaking about flying Pokemon and actual difficult ace Pokemon, Bugsy can be surprisingly tough because of Scyther, and if we had to use Rolling Kick, which is double resisted by Bug, we would be in trouble. We don't have to do that. Because I don't know about you, but... oh, wait, I gotta get past a Rattata. I'm gonna get TM... wait, I gotta get past a Geodude. I'm gonna get TM22! Actually, it's TM39. But it is Swift. And since Swift isn't resisted by Bug Pokemon, we can 3-shot Metapod. That's not great. And then Kakuna comes out, and we can actually 2-shot it. Actually, well, we did. The crit helped. And now, another bad ace move in Fury Cutter just takes too long to get going, and so we're able to knock out Scyther on our first attempt. By the way, also in terms of, like, worst TMs ever given by gym leaders, in my opinion, Gen 1 has the worst TMs in Bide and Psywave, which are pretty much never useful, but... typically, Mud Slap and Fury Cutter are completely useless as well. However, funny enough, specific to this run, we actually do need Mud Slap because it's the only way we're going to be able to attack Ghastly. If we got a different move that we couldn't actually learn, then we would have no way of actually attacking this Ghastly, and we'd need to use Struggle, which would take forever and would be really bad. But thankfully, that is not something we need to do, and we can just use all our moves and beat Rival 2 fairly easily. And that's the last time we're going to see Swift, because in the forest, we get the TM for a Headbutt, and this, by the way, is consistent for every single one of the Hitmons, so I'm not going to repeat this over and over again. Typically, it's going to be Mud Slap for Ghastly, Swift for Bugsy, and then Headbutt for a while, because eventually we're going to get Return, but we need to max out our friendship first. Or actually, we need to get it to more than Headbutt. And considering Headbutt flinches, it's going to need to be maxed out before I consider using it, which is typically once we beat Team Rocket and end up back in the Mart, that's when I like to go and get Return. We have a lot of game to cover before then. Whitney is known as being really difficult, but Rollout is resisted by Hitmontop, and Rolling Kick is super effective against both her Pokemon. So even though Miltank outspeeds and is fairly bulky, we do get a crit, which makes this a little bit easier, but ultimately this was always going to be easy, and we get another useless TM in Attract. I mean, this is something I thought about. Like, Gen 2 just has the worst TMs, but again, I maintain the worst of all time are Bide and Psywave. But speaking of TM moves, Hitmontop gets a very interesting move that neither of the other Hitmons get. And that is, in the National Park, we get a nerfed version of Dig. In this game, as well as Gen 3, it is only 60 base power. However, it will be a lot more powerful than Mud Slap, and it should help us with the very next gym leader. Having said that, this is Crystal version, meaning there is a mandatory Rival 3 battle. And we don't outspeed Haunter, which is a problem. And so we might have to actually do this after. Wait, no, we have to do this first. We would have to go to Olivine if we can't do this now. But you can see Headbutt and Rolling Kick doing its job. And then the Berry coming in clutch. And then we use Dig to finish off Magnemite. Mud Slap probably would have done the trick, but obviously I would rather a 60 base power move than a 20 base power move. That's all Mud Slap is. Anyway, after I beat the Kimono Sisters, I go and battle Morty after beating all the trainers in his gym. The biggest thing here is our speed. Now, I accidentally go for Rolling Kick, so that's a problem. That can't happen because we can't get cursed by the first two Pokemon. That would basically result in an auto loss. As long as we're underground, Curse can't hit us. But, oh, we do outspeed Haunter. And now we basically just have to avoid Hypnosis and GG. Actually, that's fine, right? Oh, no! 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 Boo! Boo! Okay, well, we'll try this a few more times and see if we can get the luck. Unfortunately, the second time, oh, we actually get by. We're good, right? Yeah, we're fine. Okay, there's Morty. All right, well, I could get the Mint Berry that's located just west of here, but didn't need it. Sick. There are a bunch of trainers I'm going to battle in the Lighthouse, but we can skip ahead to Chuck, who also gives a useless TM in Dynamic Punch. Now, I actually don't have the best matchup against Chuck because Rolling Kick, yeah, see, it can miss. And then Leer kind of sucks. And now if I'm hit by a single Dynamic Punch, we're done. And it is a 50-50 chance. All right, there's 0 for 1. Try to get the flinch. Okay, fine. Ah, there it is. Well, close. Anyway, on our second attempt, we actually get a lot luckier. We actually get a Hypnosis and then a flinch. Yeah, Rolling Kick can flinch too. I don't know if people know that. It's slightly more powerful than Headbutt, but the chance to miss makes me hesitant to use it. But since we were at just 1 HP last time, it made me realize just use Rolling Kick. So after first trying both Falconer and surprisingly Bugsy, and unsurprisingly Whitney, we have second tried Morty and Chuck. Not bad, but not great considering, well, it's medium. The next two gym leaders give out semi-useful TMs. I mean, they're not great, but with Dig, we can one-shot the Magnemite. But now, even though it's super effective against Steelix, it's so bulky that it does way more damage with Iron Tail than I do with Rolling Kick. But thankfully, Iron Tail has a 30% chance to miss, and once it does, that's GG, and we were able to outspeed Magnemite, which is also super lucky. So, on only 1 HP, but that's a first try, victory. The next gym leader is Price. We will beat him because he uses Ice, except for Seal for some reason, but we still one-shot Seal with Rolling Kick. And again, to reiterate, this is our best fighting move other than Dynamic Punch. So, it's our best fighting move. We don't one-shot Piloswine, but we do get access to a move that we're not going to use for about, well, in real time, like an hour and a half. And that is Agility. Now, some of you already know why I have this move, but it won't be relevant for quite a while. Still, the fact that Hitmontop learns it is really great and will make a battle really much easier than otherwise it would. All right, well, I'm going to skip over the Team Rocket stuff because it's not difficult, and we're going to just go to the final gym. It's Claire Bear. That's from Heroes. Rolling Kick misses, but so does Thunder Wave, and then Rolling Kick hits. Fun fact, I actually think Return does more damage, but my math was off, so I didn't realize it. Doesn't really matter, but Pink Bow Return was probably the better move. And unfortunately, because I'm paralyzed, the Kingdra is able to Hyper Beam me. And then, oh, actually, never mind. I thought I was going to lose. Ha! I didn't. Look at that. That was a first try victory. Whoa, okay, pretty cool. So we have first or second try victoried every single gym. Usually that's a really good sign, but the Elite Four doesn't look like it's going to be overly kind to Hitmontop or any of the Hitmons. Will is Psychic type with Xatu, Flying Psychic. That's right away. Then we have Koga, Poison type, resists fighting. Then we have Bruno, that should be easy. But Karen has Gengar and Vileplume. So it's not like just dark type. There's only 2 dark types. Well, Murkrow, but that's dark flying. So how is this going to go? The first thing I have to figure out is, how do we get past Will's first Xatu? So return almost does enough, and then I'm confused. So my first thought is, okay, let's give a Bitter Berry so we don't get confused. That will work, right? And yeah, it does a little bit. We're able to one-shot Jinx with return. Executor can just be really annoying. It goes for Reflect. But, oh, well, no, it just went for Psychic. We're done, yeah. Because the Slowbro, even though typically it likes to set up Amnesia and whatnot, it won't if it sees that it can get a KO. So it seems like the big thing here is to knock out Executor quickly. Unfortunately, it again goes for Psychic. There is something I can do here. After I try and lose for a 3rd time and then a 4th time, I realize that, okay, maybe I'll just use the rare candies that are easily accessible. So I do that and I'm at level 54. Alright, well, at level 54, return doesn't quite one-shot Xatu. But maybe it's a range, or maybe I could change that. Here it does one-shot, which is nice, but you might be thinking what I might do to make that even more consistent. I knock out Jinx, Executor goes for Psychic, but my special defense is really high, so Slowbro won't get a KO, so it goes for Curse, which is kind of useless. Then it goes for Psychic, but here is the problem. We don't outspeed Xatu, but it's close. So I don't know why it took me a little while to figure this out, but we don't need the Bitter Berry anymore. Let's go equip Pinkbo. It's probably because I'm streaming and talking. The combination of Pinkbo plus level 54 was enough to make this semi-consistent. Slowbro could still be kind of trolly, but from this point forward, spoiler alert, but I'm just not going to show this battle anymore, we about 95% of the time would beat Will. Now that does spoil that if we're beating Will that much, something down the line must be causing a problem, and for those of you who are new, remember, in these runs, I am not going to save between Elite Four members. Makes it a little more fun and challenging. Speaking of challenging, Koga was actually really annoying. And I should mention Hitmontop is the first run I did, like chronologically. And this is where I kind of had to figure out what to do. Now, so far it's looking great. You know, through Crobat, things are mostly fine. The problem comes with Forretress. Because, well, it's a Forretress. What do I do? And in this case, it poisoned me. Now, I figured out a couple ways, including equipping a Poison Cure Berry. But funny enough, by the time this was all said and done, I actually didn't end up needing it. But that is something you can do. I'll show you the first winning battle, and then I'll talk about the final strategy. In this strategy, I use agility, so I outspeed Crobat. That would become less relevant later. And knock out the Ariados. And then Venomoth is a 2-shot. Again, this isn't the final strategy. But Crobat now, as long as I don't get Toxicked, which is nice, I do have the Poison Cure Berry. And then Rolling Kick actually does 3-shot Fortress. So as long as we don't miss, you'd think we're fine. But in fact, there is a much, much better thing you can do here. And we get a clutch crit on Muck, which allows us to get to Bruno. That said, I will show you the smart strategy we do a little bit later. Thankfully, Bruno, we don't really need any kind of smart strategy. Hitmontop is the bulkiest, so it was problematic. And again, I don't know why I didn't realize that Return does more than Rolling Kick, but I end up making this really close because I use Rolling Kick. Against Onix, you actually do need to use Rolling Kick, but for the rest of them, just use Return. Again, it's just bad math on my part. If it were base 70, it would be slightly stronger and still not worth it because it would be ever so slightly stronger. So in the end, it actually is always better to use Return. Just bad math. I don't know why. Multiplying by 1.5 with a number like 65 is just not... I'm not great at mental math, but this would be pointed out on stream. Sometimes stream does help, but right now I'm playing badly. Against Karen, however, it doesn't actually matter how I play. There's quite a bit of luck. I need to one-shot the Umbreon, and I don't. And that's just GG. because at this point we miss, and even though I have Bitterberry, I end up paralyzed with worse accuracy, and in the end, I actually make it pretty far, but I just can't get past the Houndoom. So it's at this point I alter strategies and get some different items, and well, I'll show you kind of how things all shake down. Okay, I think this is the right Koga strategy, where if I'm doing it properly, the agility doesn't actually matter, but that's fine. Don't worry about that. I have equipped, I'm pretty sure, let's see how much damage I do to Venomoth, if this is the final. Yes, I have Pink Bow. I don't care about getting poisoned because it's not a big deal, since what we can do to Fortress is Rolling Kick, Spikes, Rolling Kick, an attack, dig. It always will explode there, and then I hit Muck. And although I don't one-shot it, I will typically have enough HP left, even if poisoned, to beat Muck. This was an incredibly consistent strategy. I may have lost once after this point, but that's it. And Bruno, you can already see that I'm still using Rolling Kick, so still haven't figured that out yet. But we've made it back to Karen, and at this point, we actually have made a change in item. Rather than the Bitterberry, I've equipped the Black Belt so that I one-shot Umbreon. But Vileplume is still a problem. So what we're going to do is we go for agility, so if it goes for Stun Spore, I will still outspeed, although I need 3 agilities to outspeed everything. And so now, this is actually another problem. Dig doesn't one-shot Gengar. Oh, it does! Okay, that spoils that I'm going to do this battle more, and I think that was the only time it actually one-shot, which is crazy. But although we get some pretty abysmal luck towards the end, my super great special defense comes in super clutch, even tanking a critical flamethrower hit in order to make it to Lance. But it's at Lance where, what do we do? Like, seriously, what do we do? We don't have an ice move. We don't have a rock move. We don't really have any good move for his dragon Pokemon. So I just go in with a Paralysis Cure Berry because I know they like to use Thunder Wave. And it's at this point I'm thinking, all right, let's just see how this battle shakes down. So Gyarados always goes for Rain Dance. That means it's a 2-shot. Aerodactyl comes out next. Interesting. It outspeeds, unsurprisingly. Rolling Kick will 2-shot, but Wing Attack takes me down to 47 HP. And then Charizard, I go for Return. Wing Attack. Oh, I survived that. But yeah, the Paralysis Cure Berry seems kind of useless because it's just going to, yeah. So, that wasn't great. We had all 3 Dragonite remaining and no clear path to beating them all. So, what do I do? And you can see me pausing here because I'm thinking. The first step is with all the money I get, and you can equip the Amulet Coin for even more money if you need, you can buy various vitamins. Now, I've already guessed and checked how many of proteins I can use. Actually, you can see I got the wrong number, so I reset there. How many carbos, how many calciums. You can only do it up to a maximum of 100 IVs. The numbers are actually different in Generation 2, but it's the same concept, where you can only go about less than half of the way to full training. But in Gen 2, you can max out everything, which is kind of nice. This is one of the main reasons I said that Koga kind of changes and other battles change, is that I just have way better stats now. In the battle you saw previously, I had the Pink Bow in order to one-shot Pokemon. But now, even though I don't even need it, equipping the Poison Cure Berry just makes sense because there's nothing else I would even want to have. And so Koga and Bruno have now become a complete joke. Karen, on the other hand, is a really good Agatha replacement in that she's just luck, and sometimes things work out, and sometimes they don't. In this case, it looked very dicey, but things actually ended up working out for me, and I make it all the way back to Lance. But are the vitamins enough to beat Lance? Well, how much damage do I do to Gyarados now? A lot. I also have Pink Bow instead of Paralysis Cure Berry. Didn't seem to make a difference. But here's a huge thing. Not only did we just crit the Aerodactyl, but we outsped it. So that changes the calculus dramatically. We don't one-shot Charizard, but I'm wanting that Paralysis Cure Berry. Very unfortunate because, yeah, if we had it, this would have gone really differently. And I'm starting to see the path to success here. This isn't bad, guys. I can work with this. So we have the item from the first battle and the stats from the second battle. And now you can see we do less damage to Gyarados, but that's okay. However, Aerodactyl is going to go a little differently this time, unless we flinch it, which we don't. And we do it with both rolling kicks. That's good. The one issue I see is that if Dragonite sees a KO, it may just go for Hyper Beam here. And what does it do? No, went for Thunder Wave. Okay, so we've at least made it to the second Dragonite, and we level up. Thunder Wave hits. That's unfortunate if it misses. And actually, I can maybe go double agility. So I will make it to the final Dragonite, and if I crit, I win. I don't crit. But it looks like if we were to get a flinch or a crit somewhere, or a Thunder Wave miss, we win. That's not the greatest strategy to basically hope, although one of those like 3 things happening is actually fairly likely. So it may take a few attempts, but this actually might work. I mean, it will work. I mean, it might work quickly. After 2 losses to Karen, a loss to Will, still can happen, and a loss to Koga, the loss I was referring to earlier, I make it back to Lance for the first time since what you've seen. And I think about going for agility off the bat, but decide to just stick to return, and then we need crit or flinch here. Whoa, we got the crit. Okay, that's probably GG. We go return on Charizard. Wing attack is fine. We have 107. We don't level up like last time, and we get the Thunder Wave miss. We got both. This is like GG in capital G's, because no matter what happens, we have the Paralysis Cure Berry, and this Dragonite actually will just go for Outrage probably. Oh, went for Safeguard. We don't even lose any more HP after the wing attack. I needed 1 of the 3. I got 2 of the 3. That's great. And that will take us to the Kanto section of the game. Now, I am going to skip this section for all 3 of the Hitmons. Sometimes I do like a song or something, but I'm just going to be real with you. Maybe if Sean, if you want, you can show a little bit of footage here and there, but none of the battles, even Sabrina, are remotely difficult. I am just too over-leveled, and none of the gym leaders, other than Blue, who I will talk about, are good enough. What I do need to talk about is, although we did end up using agility a little bit for Koga, and actually did not intend to use it at all for Karen, but that ended up being a key part of why we even won. The reason I actually have it is because in Celadon City at night, rather than getting an Eevee in the building, you get TMO3, which is Curse, and Curse agility is how I'm intending to beat Red. But before we talk about Red, we have to beat Blue. And I'm going to use a strategy for Blue. And there's one other thing you can pick up in Celadon City. You can get it from the Snorlax or from the garbage can. It's leftovers, and it's going to help with our Curse agility strategy. So here's what we do. We're just going to use Return, really. We don't even need another move. And then we just spam Curse. Actually, Pidgeot is spamming Curse, which really makes things work really well for us, because we can go +4, and then we can go Agility. And actually, yep, no, I think we're good on agility. Honestly, I just used it 5 times. I think that's right. I don't know. I don't actually remember how many times I used Curse. I used it 4 times? Yeah, we should be +2 now in speed. Anyway, if my math is right, and when I say math, I mean my hope, we just one-shot everything. And yeah, I mean, +4 in attack is looking pretty good. And you can see with the leftovers, I slowly gain HP back just in case I'm wrong, or I miss a rolling kick, or hey, there we go, we missed a rolling kick, or something. But that is the plan for Blue. Red is going to be a lot tougher, but that is also going to be the plan for Red. There is just one slight problem. Pikachu is far more annoying to set up against than Pidgeot, because Pikachu can use Charm. So now I'm -1 in attack, +1 in defense, -1 in speed. Thunder misses, so I'm even in attack, +2 in defense, - in speed. Thunder can paralyze, I'm +1 in attack. Thunder misses, I'm +2 in attack. Thunder hits, I'm not paralyzed, I'm +3 in attack. And I was too greedy. I should have just gone agility there. This really is going to come down to, is Pikachu going to cooperate or not? But actually, if I think about this more properly, because the problem with a lot of these battles is Pikachu didn't cooperate, but I also kind of needed to know, well, how many curses do I actually need to sweep, or even if I don't sweep, to win? And I can't get paralyzed. That is just an instant reset. I decided to go with +2. It's not a lot. Thunder hits, I go instantly for agility, so I'll outspeed, but I'm not paralyzed. And then I go protect, gain a little bit of HP back. Okay, so now curse, so I'm +1 in speed and +1 in attack and defense. Neutral in speed, nice miss by Thunder. And so I'm gonna go protect here. Ooh, protected a charm. And Thunder misses, so now I'm +2 in speed, and I'm just going to return Pikachu. Great. Now Espeon. I should one-shot Espeon, and that's game. Oh, wait, no, it's Charizard. Thought it'd be Snorlax for some reason. Okay, we don't one-shot it, so I would have probably needed 3 or 4. But now is Snorlax, and we can set up another curse. It goes Amnesia. We're +3. And then Agility, just in case I'm paralyzed. There's the paralysis, but it's okay. As long as I keep going for Agility. Ah, darn, I wanted some health back. Come on, don't mess this up. Ooh, this is looking bad. This is looking bad. Good protect there. Let's go return. Let's just try and finish this off. Because Venusaur is going to go for Solar Beam. Oh, no. All right, you know what? I can protect. Nice. Not paralyzed. And I may have gained enough HP back. Actually, I can go Agility here and protect. And I may outspeed Blastoise. Okay, this will be tough. Do I outspeed Blastoise? You know what? I might tank the attack anyway. I outspeed, and it's a crit. Nice there. So as I check my time, while Hitmontop got through most battles prior to the Elite Four easily, it wasn't quick. Nothing was quick because of the misses, the lack of power points, and the needing to really readjust strategy and get a little bit lucky for both Red and the Elite Four. And because of that, Hitmontop finds itself right around the same spot as the worst evolutions. We haven't done nearly as many of these runs as Red and Blue or even Fire Red and Leaf Green, but we have done, shockingly, 14 of them, and right now Hitmontop ranks in the bottom 5, which makes a degree of sense. Funny if we do every fully evolved Pokemon in Generation 2. That's something I'm thinking about. Like, every generation I have my own little challenge that I'm gonna do, but I'm not committing to that. Right now, what I'm committing to is 2 more Hitmons. And which one should we pick next? Chan or Lee? Well, I thought the special attacking moves would be interesting, specifically the ice moves for Lance, so I opted to go with Hitmonchan. Now, Hitmonchan has a different stat loadout, we talked about that, but it's been about 20 minutes, so let's refresh. Chan has less defense, a little bit more speed, and a little bit more attack. What it does not have, however, is a strong fighting move. Even, well, considering Rolling Kick a strong fighting move is a little bit funny, but it starts with Comet Punch, an 18 base power normal move that can hit between 2 and 5 times. Not exactly something that is great or consistent, and it won't get the elemental punches until well after we're in Goldenrod. It also doesn't get Dig, so we're gonna have to rely on Mud Slap for I don't know how long. But with its higher attack, and even with its base 35 special attack, the fact it does have these interesting special moves like Ice Punch, is it possible that Hitmonchan could even outdo Hitmontop? Could it be the top? Let's see. But before we get into the run, I want to give a shout out to a very special viewer. His name is Evan, and apparently in the next week or so, Evan is getting married. Unfortunately, I don't know very much about you, Evan, but your friend Justin asked me to do this. You live in Thunder Bay, which is, for those of you who don't know, I live in the Toronto area. That's like a city with like streets and restaurants. And Thunder Bay is like a city with streets and restaurants, but in the middle of nowhere. I mean, seriously, it's like so far away. I actually want to look this up. It is a 15-hour drive, which is insane. To put that in perspective, by the way, if you're American, it takes just about as long for me to get from where I am in Canada to South Carolina. It should now be very clear to you why Evan is such a fan of mine. I mean, what else do you have to listen to or do in Thunder Bay? I mean, I have no idea. I've actually never been anywhere near there. But joking aside, Congratulations on your wedding. I wish you and the person you are marrying nothing but happiness. May your lives be a Mewtwo run and not a Ditto run, a Pokemon. Alright, back to Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan takes a little bit longer to get to and defeat Falconer because Comet Punch is awful. You have a base 18 power move that usually only hits twice. It is really, really bad. Still good enough with a berry to beat Pidgeotto, but you can see, especially with its low power points, how I need to constantly go back and heal and refresh those power points, and agility doesn't really help me. At least not right now. You already saw what I did with Hitmontop, and I'm pretty sure we're going to use the same strategy for all 3 Hitmons. I know, kind of lame, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we'll do something else. But in order to use that strategy, I need to keep agility. In Generation 2, there is no move relearner, so if I ever delete agility, since it's not a TM move, I have no way of reteaching it. So that essentially means we're going to have one less move than we otherwise would need. I mean, maybe we will use agility at some point, but I don't know. Right now, it seems like we're going to be faster. Now, against Bugsy, once again, we went and got Swift, and we're going to use it. And it goes kind of the same as Hitmontop. In Generation 3 and beyond, it would be interesting since Hitmontop would have Intimidate, and that could be fascinating. Actually, we could use agility here, which may help, especially if Fury Cutter misses. Eventually, ooh, he's going to go to Quick Attack. All right, so there is a loss to Bugsy. So, what do I want to do? Do I want to use agility first? All right, actually, why did I reset there? What am I doing? Oh, I'm equipping a berry. That's smart. Yeah, that probably would have helped me. Anyway, with the berry, we still get hit by the string shot, and then we get poisoned. So we're going to have to do this a third time. And third time does prove to be the charm. And with the berry, it actually never triggered. So we win without it, but fine. All right, next comes Rival 2. And he's going to do his Rival I don't know. Do you remember when you lost your passion for this work? That's a Simpsons line. Simpsons did it. Anyway, we actually have a pretty easy time. We're going to keep Crocking off for all 3. I think I mentioned that before, but in case I didn't, just keeps things as consistent as possible. And yeah, I wouldn't say Hitmonchan is struggling per se. However, it definitely has thus far been slower. Now, I really do think the Elite Four is where it can make up significant time, because in the Elite Four, well, then Ice Punch is going to come into play. Actually, we are going to get Ice Punch theoretically right here, but I don't know if it's going to be all that useful. What would be useful is a fighting move, and obviously we don't have that. So we need to use Headbutt versus Clefairy, which takes 4 hits after a weird metronome, which means our accuracy is dropped, which sucks, because that's what I want to do to Miltank. And even though I do get off the first 2 Mud Slaps, Miltank really isn't missing, but I then go for Headbutt and get critted. So, yay. Take 2. This kind of sucks. Once again, let's equip a berry, because why the heck not? So, alright, Clefairy, why are you being so obnoxious? That time it used Double Slap. And there we got a crit, but we have half HP. So let's go for Mud Slap. It went for Stomp. Yeah, we just lost. Yep, alright, take 3. Fun for me. Headbutt. Metronome, Comet Punch. That's hilarious. Headbutt. We are pretty much in the exact same situation as last time. Slightly more health with 31. All right, so Mud Slap. No, it's going for Stomp. Okay, so we need to basically get through Clefairy without losing any health. And that's going to be kind of difficult. All right, battle number 3. Headbutt, Flinch. Headbutt, Metronome, Meditate. Nice. Okay. 50 HP, so it's going to go for Rollout now because the AI is strange. Rollout, Mud Slap, Rollout, Mud Slap, please miss. No. Agility, now we need a Flinch, and we get a miss. Now we go Mud Slap, all right, Stomp. We're going to go Headbutt, Stomp misses, Headbutt, Stomp hits. All right, take 4. We're going to go Headbutt, Double Slap misses, Headbutt, Double Slap hits. All right, this is as good as anything. Okay, now we're going to get a Rollout hit, Mud Slap. Hey, miss. Another Mud Slap. And then a Stomp miss. Nice. Then a Flinch. Then a Stomp miss. Then a crit and a Flinch. All right, well, when it rains, it pours. Or I guess when it suns, it scorches the earth. I don't know the reverse of that saying, but yeah, it was pretty easy. I mean, it was pretty easy that one time after being completely, seemingly impossible the other 4. Cool. Well, there's going to be a bunch of game we're going to skip. In these last 2 runs, I am going to be more focused on the major battles and the differences, just because, I mean, there are a lot of similarities here. But one major difference, I hate that show, by the way. I've mentioned it before, I hate that show, but that's a good bit from a bad show. And I know some of you like that show, and you're wrong, and its show sucks. J. Rose hot takes. Anyway, Morty is kind of terrible for Hitmonchan compared to Hitmontop, because we don't have Dig, we're stuck with Mud Slap. So it's a 2-shot, and Ghastly goes for Curse immediately, which means a reset, because if it uses Curse, I simply can't win. Is there a chance it doesn't use Curse? Well, I try again, and no. It seems like the only thing it does is Curse. Well, I mean, I have 2 tries, and both times it went for Curse, so, you know, 2 for 2. There's a crit. All right, so let's see what happens here. Haunter then goes for Hypnosis. Interesting. And then Nightshade, and then Nightshade, and then Nightshade misses, and then Nightshade. This is like Agatha. All right, well, we made it to Gengar, but it's just going to go Shadow Ball and knock me out. So this is looking kind of terrible, but there are some possibilities here. I'm going to try one more time. We're going to go for Mud Slap. Nice crit. Wow, 2 for 2 on crits. Then Mud Slap. It goes for Curse. This is okay. Now Hypnosis misses. Mud Slap. Curse. Mean Look. Mud Slap. So it's going to be a 4-shot. Hypnosis. Mud Slap. And I don't think this is going to work. Yeah, you know, close. Unless we crit right here. Actually, we did crit right there. And it still wasn't going to work. So this, by the way, okay, fun fact, I didn't know this yet. So this is kind of a meta thing, and I wouldn't figure this out. So this run was actually recorded, the gameplay, before the Marowak run, and I didn't mention this during Marowak. So I play these runs using a controller. There are many ways you can use a controller with a Game Boy. Many different ways, including the analog, which does accept USB controllers, including the one I use. Problem is, I didn't realize I mashed the A button like a maniac, and I broke it. The pad's completely gone, and although someone smarter than me or more handy than me could repair it, I just got a new one. But I didn't know yet that this was happening. And why is this relevant? Because I was going to go grab the Mint Berry, but instead I battled Morty a few more times, simply because I think it was 2 more times, simply because the A button would stick in such a way and would double press. Like, I guess stick is the wrong word, but it would double press, and it was really annoying. So anyway, I did go and grab the Mint Berry. For those of you who want to know where the Mint Berry is, it's right here. By the way, Eddie Murphy's Law, it's not called Eddie Murphy's Law, but, you know, because it's funny, let's call it Eddie Murphy's Law. When I go and get these types of berries, I never end up using them. The battle ends up being a joke. So let's see if that holds true. So we have the Mint Berry. That will cure sleep. That's what we want. And I actually battled a few more trainers. This time I got Spite, which is a problem. But these ranges are nice. I mean, these ranges are great. Unfortunately, I can't get hit by Spite. And I lose for a variety of reasons. So I did battle some extra trainers. This was good, but not enough extra trainers. That's bad. And so, yeah, there's Curse. Okay, so Soft Sand, I wish I had Soft Sand, but you can't have both Soft Sand and Mint Berry. Anyway, Mud Slap, we got Lick. Oh, and of course it paralyzed. That's what we want. So it can just go for any of its moves, but we're just getting Curse and the worst luck. There's Curse. For those of you wondering, there's just no way. It takes way too many hits to KO Gengar. If it goes for Curse, we just lose. So I needed to battle more trainers. Just lovely. Anyway, this time we get Spite, and it's 3. Probably going to be a problem. I just want to kind of see what happens here. Nightshade. So in theory, we could win here. I mean, I also want to see, is it a 3-shot to Gengar? Okay. So everything is great here, but now... Oh, wait! I can go for Ice Punch! Wait a minute! I have it! Ice Punch did help me! I bought it! I said I was gonna do it, and I did it, and I won! Look at me! Genius over here. 35 base special attack. No problem. Easy peasy. Badge 4 in the bag. And now we get to go and battle Chuck, which should be fine. Like, what could Chuck really do to a Hitmonchan, right? We're going to still use Headbutt for the flinch, and it's slightly more powerful. We get a Leer Miss. Excellent. And then Poliwrath, we get a Mind Reader, we get a flinch, and we get another flinch. And then we have Mach Punch, so we do have a fighting move. And that may help us with our next battle, and that's going to be Jasmine, the Steel-type gym leader. Okay, so with Jasmine, we're going to go for Mud Slap. Accuracy fell, Thunderbolt, Mud Slap, very good. All right, Magnemite, oh, it just paralyzed me. All right, let's see how much we do with the Mach Punch to Steelix. Oh, never mind. Okay, let's try this again. We could go and get Fire Punch, by the way. We do have Fly now, so that is an option. We fly now. We fly now. We get a Thunder Wave miss after a Mud Slap. Very good. Steelix comes out. We get Mud Slap, Iron Tail, Mud Slap, Iron Tail, both missing. That one hits. And then Mach Punch, darn it. Mach Punch, crit, miss, Mach Punch, miss. All right, there is GG. In fact, I probably choose Mach Punch against Magnemite, and it actually does more than Mud Slap, which makes sense. Mud Slap is 10 base power, multiplied by 4 is 40, and Mach Punch is 40 base power, multiplied by 1.5, 60, multiplied by 2, 120. So, yeah, Mach Punch is stronger. Cool. I mean, I knew that. I didn't know it would one-shot. So, I didn't play that perfectly, but it's fine. We're good. This is why we use in-game time and not real time. Okay, so now we're going to do... Oh, wait. One cool thing I didn't actually know. In Pokemon Crystal, because I always play as the guy, because, like, you know, I'm a guy. I never realized the Lapras maintains the same color as the player character. So when, I guess, Chris, I think that's her name in this game, when she uses Lapras, it's blue, the correct color, versus when, what is his name? Is it Gold? I think it's just Gold. Anyway, when he uses it, it's red. And I've never actually seen a blue Lapras before. Or I'm sure I've seen it. I'm sure I just haven't, like, noticed it. But yeah, kind of neat. All right, now it's time to get nice with price. That actually made 0 sense. But we're going to go for Headbutt on Seal. And then Icy Wind is fine because we have Mach Punch. And then we can use another Mach Punch. And then Aurora Beam, that's fine. Another Mach Punch. And now Piloswine, guess what we're going to go for? Just a little bit of a Mach Punch. Then it went for Mist. All right, cool. So that happened. Now we have a long, boring, and tedious Team Rocket section, which didn't prove too difficult for any of the Hitmons. So we're going to skip all that and make our way to the final gym leader, Claire, without an E. I always spell her name with an E, but she doesn't have one. This is the important information you come to me for. Okay, so we're gonna go for Return. We have that now, but it doesn't quite one-shot, but Slam. So we did not need to use our Paralysis Cure Berry, and I actually don't have one. Nice! Well, at least we can outspeed theoretically with Mach Punch, and it's still a 2-shot, but Kingdra will likely be a 3-shot. So I go for Return, and, oh, actually, if Hyper Beam had missed, I would have won. And please say I have a Paralysis Cure Berry. No! Where is it? All right, we're going to have to try and do this without that, even though I should have one. Protein and Pink Bow could theoretically help us. No, let's... okay, we have Amulet Coin. All right, actually, that could help us. Pink Bow might turn Return into a one-shot, which would mean we don't get hit in the first place by Thunder Wave. No. And so that was useless, but we could still win. Mach Punch is a 2-shot anyway, and as long as we have enough health for Kingdra, we... okay, wait. And then Return. Oh, it was a 1-shot. Darn it. Okay, Dragon Breath, and now just no Hyper Beam. Oh, never mind. We're fine. Still fine. Yay! All right, neat. We have defeated good old Claire, and that means we can move on to the Elite Four. So the Elite Four are going to have similar issues to what Hitmontop faced. However, This time around, we will have the elemental punches for Lance, so that could be good. And I have learned quite a bit about the first 3 members through my Hitmontop experience, so that should at least help me. Don't forget, we are still using in-game time instead of real time, so that's why it doesn't really matter, but it could make this go quicker in real time, which I like. Okay, so Will 1, we need to one-shot with Return. We do. Okay, since we one-shot with Return, we should, and the keyword is should, be fine here. We don't really have any different Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It went for Psychic. That didn't work. All right, so let's try that again. Return. I think I need Executor just to not go for Psychic or I lose. Is that really the situation here? Return. Okay, went for Reflect. We should, in theory, be fine. Return Amnesia. Return Curse. Return 1 Psychic. All right, we're fine. And okay, so that's Will. That's Will. Next up is Koga. I have healing items. We're actually going to delete Mud Slap here for Fire Punch, and that should help with Fortress. Remember, Fortress was actually kind of annoying for Hitmontop. So we go Return and one-shot Ariados. Crit probably didn't help. Return one-shot Venomoth. We don't outspeed Crobat, but Return also doesn't one-shot it. We can go for Agility, and now we do outspeed Crobat. And then it goes for Toxic. I miss. It goes for Wing Attack. Please don't miss. Of course I do. It goes for Wing Attack, and we lose here. We're going to one-shot Fortress. Oh, no, we're not. Oh, wait. We will get past it. And now, if I get a crit, we're fine. But otherwise, we lose. Ah, close. Okay, so that was annoying. Anywho, I do actually have some ideas for probably getting some proteins. I'm going to go shopping and try and find the right number of proteins. It's just a guess and check, and then I'm going to try and max out my stat experience as much as I can, and that should help with ranges against Will. Not the ones you think of, actually, because I did buff my special defense a bit. Didn't matter, because Executor seems to not like going for Psychic, and so we beat Will easily a second time. We won't have to show those battles anymore, especially if we win here. All right, so Koga. We can go for Agility right off the bat, but I just went for Return, got rid of Ariados, and then Venomoth's kind of annoying, so I just went for Return again. Crobat, would you look at that? I actually have enough speed because of the Carbo, so I miscalculated. Great. Well, that's fine, and we don't get Toxic, so that's GG. We forgot to teach Fire Punch, so I'm going to have to use a bunch of Mach Punches, and there's a Mud Slap just in case it goes for Explosion, and it didn't. Nice. And that should mean we're fine for Muck. And it goes for Minimize. Great. Bruno is next. We don't have Dig or a good fighting move. It shouldn't really matter. I go for Return against Hitmontop and one-shot it. And then Hitmonlee, we one-shot with Return. This is looking fine. Mirror Match. It goes Mach Punch. We go Return. And then Machamp, still going for Return. Cross Chop misses. That could have crit and been a problem. It's going to heal. We go for Return and Return. And then finally, against Onyx, we're just going to have to go for probably 2 Mach Punches. Easy peasy. But this is the one that usually gives me the most problems, Karen. Karen's very annoying. We're going to have to rely on Mud Slap. And that's why I didn't want to delete it, because that's the only way we're going to be able to damage Gengar reliably. First things first, Umbreon. We do one-shot, but the crit may have mattered. That's huge because that means our accuracy isn't lowered. Oh, we just made it to Lance. That was some crazy luck. Oh, wait, Curse is a bit of a problem, but we actually should be fine because I think we one-shot Murkrow here with Return, and Curse doesn't activate if you KO in this generation, and so Mach Punch will one-shot Houndoom. We have made it all the way to Lance, and did I forget to teach Ice Punch? Yep, I did. Great. Well, I go Return. It does half. I go Return. We can still learn some stuff. Aerodactyl, Ice Punch would have been what I use here. Although Mach Punch will two-shot. So that's all right. Charizard, Return would be what I go for anyway. It goes for Wing Attack. So this is kind of a problem. I make it to Dragonite and now... Okay. Perhaps Ice Punch would one-shot that. But... We did encounter a bit of a problem by taking too much damage. However, if we one-shot everything, like all the Dragonite, I mean, we would be fine. I'm also going to go grab the Nevermelt Ice and some more rare candies. So I will try to level up a little bit because I think we might need that in order to make the final battle a little bit more consistent. And I'll just fast forward to when we get back there. Never mind. I want to actually show you this. This is how Karen can go. This is actually only my second battle versus Karen. I have leveled up quite a bit, and I shouldn't have gone... Wait. Actually, I think Return does do more damage. Now that I think about it, it's close, actually. But you can see how this battle can just go completely awry, and that's really frustrating. So, unfortunately, you do have to just make it past a bit of a luck section with Karen. And my next attempt, I do make it past her. I teach all the right moves and battle Lance for the second time overall. Alright, so I don't have Thunder Punch. I don't need it because it just goes for Rain Dance turn 1 anyway. Double Return, we're good. Now I'm going to go for Ice Punch. It doesn't one-shot. We do get a Freeze. And I think that just won us the battle. Because now Charizard... Oh, okay, we definitely won the battle. Basically, I was hoping... Oh my god! Alright, well, okay. Okay, it does one-shot anyway. So many things just happened there. Okay, almost one-shot level 50. Alright, guys, so here was the plan, and it got ruined by good luck. That happened so fast. The idea was this. If I could get either a freeze or a crit on one of the two Pokemon, and or maybe just not get in the damage range, Dragonite would go for Thunder Wave, and perhaps we could be fine. Additionally, I could one-shot the Dragonite before it could attack me. All those things happened. All of them. Not one, not two. All of them happened. Very rarely do I get that kind of luck. And honestly, I may have even been over-leveled. I don't think I needed half of the luck I got. But it looked kind of goofy. Anyway, we're going to skip ahead. We're going to do the exact same thing as last time where we get cursed. That's why it's nighttime. So we'll pick things up with the only gym leader that tends to give me problems, Blue. I go for returning his Pidgeot and get a crit. That's pretty lucky. Alakazam doesn't outspeed. We're going to one-shot. That's great. Gyarados, I go for return, and we get another crit. What is going on today? But Executor could prove problematic. It goes for Leech Seed. We should be fine. Arcanine, even with the Leech Seed, as long as it doesn't burn. Oh, okay, well, that just cost me the game. All right, that I deserve that. Okay, so this time I don't get a crit. I get hit with Wing Attack, but that's fine. I don't have the leftovers equipped. Probably should, but I'm kind of just lazily keeping my moves and everything the same. Just trying to get through this section as fast as possible and make it to the real final battle of Red. I get Leech Seeded again, and this time full restored, which is going to be a slight problem if I don't two-shot, which I do. And now all we need is no burn, and we're fine, question mark? I think we're fine. Wait, the last one's Rhydon. I do have Ice Punch. It doesn't one-shot. No, we're not fine. Okay, so I think we do actually need to use the leftovers. And now here is the leftovers. And you can see the leftovers just make this really easy. All I needed was a little bit more HP, and I'm actually going to have more than enough. You can really see in a longer battle just how great leftovers really can be. And it sucks that in most games, it's really difficult to get. In fact, just trying to think about it, this Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Fire Red, Leaf Green, are there any other games where leftovers are a viable thing to get? I don't know. I'm trying to think off the top of my head because I don't do a lot of challenge runs in all the later games. But yeah, leftovers, so great. It worked well against Blue. How is it going to go versus Red? We have Return, we have Agility, we have the leftovers. Do we have a first try victory maybe? Let's see. Now, the biggest problem with this strategy is Charm. So I went for Mud Slap, trying to get Thunder and Charm to miss. I thought this was a really solid strategy until I crit, in which case I have to reset. So what we want is to lower accuracy so we can set up against Pikachu, or at least that's what I thought we wanted. Unfortunately, I just keep getting crits. This thing has like the critical hit ability. Well, Super Luck is what the critical hit ability is, but that doesn't even exist. So another crit. This time Pikachu is actually going to heal. So I'm going to go for Agility first. We're Agility second. Okay, 99 HP. Mud Slap. Let's lower that accuracy again, and we're paralyzed. All right, well, this is starting off really fun. Okay, all right, this time I just went for return by accident. Thunder, Mud Slap. All right, it's going to heal, so I'm going to go for another Mud Slap on the heal. I'm at 145. Another Mud Slap. Oh my god, it crit, but we're fine. We're fine. Okay, so I'm going to go for agility on the heal, and now I'm going to go for a second agility. So I'm +4, +6 in speed. Maybe that was a little greedy. And then curse, 2. Please don't... we're paralyzed. All right, so it's now outspeeding me. And yeah, frick! If only that didn't happen, we would have swept. Maybe that was really greedy. All right, so Charm, Mud Slap, Mud Slap, Mud Slap, no crit. Okay, perfect. No, I don't need a fourth one. All right, that was a little greedy. Okay, so this time Curse, I'm -1. Thunder paralyzes. Every time! Not only does it hit, it paralyzes every time. But this time, I actually wanted to keep going. And, okay, well, that crit just ruined it. I want to see how much damage I do to Espeon and how much damage it does to me, because perhaps I'm really overcomplicating the heck out of this. All right, one more. I get hit with Thunder, Mud Slap, Mud Slap. Okay, come on, Josh. Go for Curse! All right, Agility. All right, fine. Go for... Okay, 2 agilities is good. Go for Curse. There we go. Curse +1, +2. All right, C +2. Let's go. All right, I'm getting frustrated at myself. Okay, so I'm +2. Is that enough to one-shot Espeon? It is. You overcomplicate the heck out of these, man. All you got to do, don't burn. No! Oh, my God. All right, so it's just +3. +3 should be fine. But when I'm hit with Charm, that means I need to use Curse, well, 5 times now. So that's 1 Curse. I'm -1. That's even. Thunder, no paralysis. +1. Agility, so I outspeed. All right, now I'm definitely going to outspeed. Another Mud Slap. All right, so I'm only +1 now. And I just have to go for return here. It doesn't one-shot Espeon, so yeah. Great! Great! Oh my god. All right, so now I hate when Charm hits first. Okay, 2 Mud Slaps should be good. Agility, so I outspeed. -1 paralysis. All right, can we just get this working? Holy mackerel. No, can we just reset? No, all right, you're going to go with it. Ah, there's the crit. Oh, nice. Okay. -2 accuracy, +2 speed, -1 attack, even attack, no paralysis, +1 attack, +2 attack, agility. And are we going to stick with +2? No, agility again. And all right, we're going to stick with +2. So I think I miscounted. We do want +3. I'll probably realize that when I don't one-shot the Charizard. That's why I shouldn't do these on stream, but that's okay, because we're not going to one-shot Charizard. We don't get burned, though, so we're fine. And that is likely GG. I'm going to go Curse here, because it always goes Amnesia. We're +3 now. It is not enough to one-shot Snorlax, so we actually wanted +4. But Venusaur can do nothing to us. In fact, we'll probably one-shot it. Oh, we don't, but that's okay. Can't heal anyway. And then Blastoise is going to be a 2-shot. But Hitmonchan is the man, and we are able to beat Red. Honestly, this was my fault it took so long, but this was fairly easy. But overall, how did Hitmonchan fare? How does it compare to Hitmonlee? Not well, guys. Not well. And why is that? You would think Hitmonchan would be better, as it is both faster and has higher attack than Hitmontop, and typically that makes for a better solo run. And there's a few things that were problematic with Hitmonchan that Hitmontop didn't have to deal with. First off, Dig actually was pretty useful, and not having that did suck at a few parts. Starting with Comet Punch was really slow, and that really sucked. But the biggest problem was that extra defense actually helped immensely versus Lance. Lance was able to take me within Hyper Beam range, meaning I needed to level up till that wasn't the case, and I didn't have to do that with Hitmontop. So it's funny how 2 small changes make about 20 minutes of difference. And don't forget, this is the second run. The first run is always, just by virtue of it being the first run I do, going to be slower. So Hitmonchan, I thought would be great with Ice Punch. I was wrong. But will Hitmonlee, that doesn't have access to Dig or Ice Punch, but it has even better speed and even better attack and better starting moves. This is actually huge. Hitmonlee, unlike the other two, starts with double kick and then gets, well, we don't need rolling kick, but jump kick, high jump kick. And sure, there are chances to miss, but that's huge. A powerful fighting move might be a game changer. Then again, how are we going to deal with Lance? Let's do it. First, we have to deal with Falconer, and it's not just that we have double kick, but we also have meditate. So I can just use a couple meditates and then one-shot both Pidgey and Pidgeotto. The biggest drawback of Curse, which I use to increase my attack, is that it lowers my speed. Getting a move that just increases my attack, it's massive. I mean, let's show you Bugsy now. Once again, we do need Swift, so all 3 runs will get Swift, but I can use Meditate 3 times if I want to. And then we don't one-shot Metapod because he uses Harden, but we can one-shot Kakuna and then probably 2-shot the Scyther. And yep, easy peasy. Next, we have Meditate and Fighting moves for Whitney. I don't even need it, although I probably should have used it. It one-shots Clefairy, but I'm outsped and almost 2-shot with Stomp by Miltank, but I tank it on 1 HP. So I probably could have lost. That was probably a favorable range, but who cares? Morty, on the other hand, is one that, in theory, we could have a hard time because we're not going to have the opportunity to set up with Meditate before Curse is used, and we don't have Dig like we do Hitmontop. So are we going to have to spend the time and get the Mint Berry, which is a time waste that Hitmonchan had to do? I'm going to try first without it, and I am going to go for Meditate. It went for Lick, and now Mudslap one-shots. That was a good gamble. We don't one-shot the Haunter, but that could be okay as long as this doesn't hit, which it doesn't. And that is an easy victory, question mark, exclamation mark. We had just regular berry and we had over half HP. This is an OP strategy, but surely Chuck will put up some resist. I mean, why would he? He didn't the last 2 times. I don't need to fake it. Hitmonlee is just amazing at this game so far. All right, what the Chuck? Do we get a one-shot with high jump kick, base 85 power? We do, and almost on Poliwhirl. Unfortunately, it does actually put me to sleep, and I only did because of the crit. Thankfully, Dynamic Punch misses once, twice, thrice, quadrice, and we don't need a Pentice, I guess, because we woke up. Excellent, excellent. All right, well, next comes Jasmine. We have super effective moves. I go for high jump kick, one-shots Magnemite. Steelix won't one-shot though, but it will 2-shot. We're hit with Iron Tail. We don't miss, which is clutch. And don't forget, there's a 10% chance to miss, but we don't miss a single time. That is 6 gym leaders, 6 first try victories. Can we make it 7 for 7 with Price? Most likely, but maybe not. So high jump kick, one-shot Seal, the only Pokemon it's not super effective against. It is super effective against Dugong, so we one-shot it. And we don't miss, and one-shot Piloswine. Okay, so we're going to skip the Team Rocket section for like the 80th time. Nothing interesting happened. Although, actually, I do lose to, what's this guy's name? He doesn't have a name, it's just an executive, but yeah, you can see I ran out of headbutts. Now, this is the only problem Team Rocket has, a lot of poison Pokemon. And you do run out of power points, and I don't want to waste my ethers or elixirs. I do beat him the next time, but I get another loss to rival, I think this is rival 4. I never even talk about the rival battles because they're really easy in this game. But it is interesting. These are 2 battles I don't normally talk about where I get losses. And they're battles, funny enough, in this battle, I actually try to use a Foresight strategy. Foresight allows fighting Pokemon to hit ghosts. In fact, that is what I'm going to do in order to hit the Haunter. I just get confused in the first battle. In the second battle, you'll see I use it successfully. This is a really cool strategy I have used in my early days playing this game, but I don't know if I've used it on the channel. Someone will point out if I have. It seems like something I would do, but I don't remember if we've done... I think we used Odor Sleuth in Gen 3 at one point. Someone remind me. I don't know if we've ever done this, but it's a really cool strategy, and it's completely intended, which is pretty cool. Anyway, now we're going to skip through the rest of Team Rocket because I don't lose any more battles, and we can make it to Claire. Well, I think Claire should be fine. Do we one-shot with high jump kick? That's huge. We do. And since we do, as long as we don't miss, we should be fine. We don't even need the Paralysis Cure Berry because nothing can paralyze us if we just outspeed in one shot. Kingdra will be a two-shot. Oh, wow, it's really close. And now I'm going to go return here. Oh, gosh, I missed with that. So I'm going to go high jump kick. It goes smoke screen. I have to go return. And thankfully, we get some decent accuracy luck. And that is 8 gym badges. But we're still probably going to have a little bit of trouble with the Elite Four. Hitmonlee is good, but it may struggle in the same spots as the previous 2 Hitmons do. And this is also where I'm going to apologize to my editor and to you guys. As far as I can see, the quality of the footage is actually worse, and it's because of a mistake I made in OBS. I was streaming this, and I wanted to show my chat something. So this is the Game Boy Advanced optimized settings, not the Game Boy optimized settings. Thankfully, it still captures the window and works, but it doesn't capture it with the settings I like. So it may look worse, or it may look exactly the same, in which case this was a pointless apology. If Sean zooms out, though, you can see it says on the bottom which pseudo is best, which is the last GBA challenge I had done at this point. Actually, I think it's still the last GBA challenge I've done. What about Sapphire? That was done in, like, November. Yeah, sometimes I hold on to these videos a while till the perfect moment, but yeah, no, the last one was the pseudos. Okay, so for Will, we know the play is we need to just use return and hope we one-shot. Now, we're going to have more attack here, so it's likely going to be easier, but I just need to make sure against Executor. Okay, so our first try, we do get the right moves from Executor, and even though Slowbro makes things a little iffy, we do make it to Koga. I should also mention, I think I mentioned this, but I'm not saving between Elite Four members. It's important that you guys know that. Okay, so now against Ariados for Koga, we go for return in one shot. We're going to return in one shot Venomoth. I haven't been using Meditate, but I easily can, and perhaps should have, because I'm poisoned, and if I used enough Meditates before, ooh, Reversal's interesting. We can't use it. And especially against Fortress, ooh, I miss. Thankfully, High Jump Kick's recoil is completely different in Gen 2, but if it was Gen 3 recoil, we would be in a ton of trouble. I actually might still lose here. I should have gone for Meditate earlier. Maybe not. Oh, actually, we're fine. Okay, that's a little lucky. But yeah, definitely should have gone for Meditate against Ariados. Put that in the notepad retroactively because these voiceovers happen way after I do the recordings. Anyway, against Bruno, we just have to go high jump kick 5 times. Unfortunately, we miss against Hitmonlee, and it goes for double kick. Still a great move, by the way. We thankfully don't miss against Hitmonchan, but it does hit us with Mach Punch. Remember those days? They were like 10 minutes ago. And then Machamp finishes off with a cross chop. Boo! Big boo! Anyway, you're going to see that I'm in Victory Road. That's because I'm very close to leveling up. And I actually want to go and get some rare candies and other such things, because if I level up to level 50, I can maximize my experience when I use the rare candies, and now's a good time to use them anyway. So I'm going to rebattle Bruno at level 55, the 1 level I had to gain, and then the 5 rare candies I'd picked up. Ultimately, it wasn't even Bruno I was worried about. It just made sense anyway. I'm actually at level 56. I started the run at level 55. But yeah, this time I go for double Meditate. And this means I can go for return. And then against Machamp, I can go for high jump kick. It makes it a lot safer. I should be a little bit more aggressive with Meditate. Or maybe passive, I guess. But yeah, I should be a little more careful and use Meditate a little bit more. This is the example of a battle where that can't really happen. But thankfully, I probably one-shot Umbreon, which makes it a lot more consistent. And there we go. Because Umbreon likes to use Sand Attack, and that makes this battle horrible. And then Vileplume, oh, we almost one-shot. If I just equipped the Paralysis Cure Berry, this would have been easy. I have to go Foresight, and that gives Gengar an extra turn to hit me. But I'm already paralyzed, so Lick can't paralyze me. And now I'm going to go for... Why'd I go for High Jump Kick? Why'd I go for High Jump Kick? Yeah, we're done. I can't believe... I don't know why I did that. I should have gone for return. Anyway, that was... I don't even understand what I was thinking there. Thankfully, we make it back to Karen on our very next attempt. So, it is easier than the other two. I'm still gonna go return, and this time I have the pink bow equipped, which is perfect. I don't even care if Gengar uses Curse, because with pink bow and watch, return will one-shot Murkrow. Why didn't I? Why? Why are you using high jump kick? Return will knock it out. Anyway, it's still fine. I don't know. I think I recorded this at like 3 in the morning and I was tired. No, not 3, like probably 12, but still. I mean, you guys know the feeling of watching a video, watching a YouTube, and be like, why don't you just do this? Why don't you just do that? It's worse when it's you. You know, there are videos I can genuinely not get through because I feel like the person is just ignoring something so obvious. And it's like, why are you making this video if you don't know what you're doing? But I'm one of those people who does that too. So, you know, glass houses, don't throw stones, all that jazz. Anyway, Lance, number 1, let's go. So I'm going to go for Meditate here because I know Gyarados is going for Rain Dance. I go for a second Meditate, it goes for Flail. So I go for a third Meditate, it goes for Flail. A fourth Meditate, it went for Hyper Beam. A fifth Meditate, and yeah. GG, unless we missed this high jump kick against Aerodactyl. Yeah, GG. So, yeah, I didn't know that's what would happen, but I wasn't going to look that gift horse in the mouth. What does that saying mean? I'm sure some of you understand that saying. Like, why can't you look gift horses in the mouth? What does the mouth have to do? Like, does that mean you don't appreciate the gift horse? Is a gift horse like a horse that's a gift? I know this sounds like I'm playing doy, but genuinely, it's one of those expressions I've used many times, but like, why? Also, you can't have your cake and eat it too? What's the point of getting a cake without eating it? That's just wasting a cake. What does that expression mean? These expressions all meant something at one point back in like the ye old days, but like, yeah, I don't understand. Anywho, there's about half hour of footage that you guys don't have to see of me easily defeating Kanto. It's one of the biggest reasons I hate doing these runs. The only time I enjoyed Kanto, funny enough, were the Nuzlockes, because in the Nuzlockes, due to the level caps going down, you had to build an entirely new team. And that was honestly really stressful. I lost so many runs in Kanto, but it did make this section actually like meaningful. And the only time I actually really appreciated the quote-unquote difficulty of Kanto. Very artificial difficulty because it's only due to self-imposed rules, but still. Anyway, the only actual difficult trainer in Kanto is Blue, since Red is actually located in Johto, so let's show the Blue battle. Alright, so against Blue, I'm going to use Meditate, and did I remember to equip Leftovers? I didn't. Well, 1 Levitate, High Jump Kick knocks out Pidgeot. Alakazam, I do outspeed, and Return is going to one-shot. Now we have Gyarados, Return, one-shots. I think we're good, unless we don't one-shot Executor, which we do, but the crit may have mattered. Now Arcanine, we're going to go back to High Jump Kick, and that will one-shot. And then finally Rhydon, High Jump Kick, will one-shot. So I forgot lefties, I was fine, and now we know what we have to do versus Red. We don't need Curse, we don't need Agility, we just need to use Meditate and win. Pikachu can be trolly, but maybe this won't take too many attempts. Let's see. Alright, so my very first battle, I'm sure this will go great. So I'm going to go for Meditate, it goes for Charm. So I'm now even, Thunder misses, Meditate, Thunder misses. Alright, I'm +2, please don't paralyze. Alright, just go. Return, one-shots Pikachu. Next is Espeon, and... ooh. I don't outspeed. Interesting. I didn't see that one coming. Okay. Wow. Unfortunately, Hitmonlee does not learn agility. So there is no option to actually increase my speed. So is this where Hitmonlee is going to be worse than the other two? Not being able to get past Espeon? The answer is, well, not because of Espeon, no. And how do I know this? Well, we're just going to use 1 Meditate, and let me show you something. I'm at level 68 now, and that's all I needed to outspeed the Espeon. But was 1 Meditate enough? I use a second Meditate on Charizard, and it does a ton with Wing Attack, and unfortunately, 2 Meditates is not enough to one-shot it. So, we seem to know what we need to do. Use the rare candies to get to level 68, so I outspeed Espeon thanks to Badge Boost. Yeah, that's still a thing. and then use 3 Meditate so we one-shot Charizard without it using Wing Attack. Unfortunately, that means setting up against Pikachu, and we all know how that can go, and there's a paralysis. So the next battle, Meditate, Thunder, crit, but no paralysis, Meditate, Thunder, miss, and Meditate, Thunder, miss. All right, I think we got this. We're at 71 HP, now 81 HP. We one-shot Espeon easily, 91 HP. We one-shot Charizard easily. We're at 101 HP. Please don't miss, please don't miss, we don't miss. We're gonna be at 100, J-Rose 11 HP. Wait, that's Venusaur next. And then we go for return and it one-shots, and now as long as we hit with high jump kick, we win. There we go. This was the quickest. Nice level, but now we need to check the time. Level 69 is great, but 618 is fantastic. Of every Pokemon we have done so far in Pokemon Crystal, Hitmonlee ranks 4th. So funny enough, Vaporeon and Flareon are actually better Pokemon in Pokemon Crystal than Hitmonlee, if you can believe it, which honestly shocks me in terms of Flareon. I mean, that's insane. And of non-legendary Pokemon, that would be 3rd overall, but yeah, this is now our 17th Pokemon we've done in Crystal, which is crazy considering, and I want to make this clear, I have no intention of doing every Pokemon in Generation 2. But these comparison videos are fun, and I still have yet to do Mew. People bring that up. I just honestly don't even know why I haven't. It just, you know, bunch of other videos I've wanted to do, to be honest with you. But that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Did you expect Hitmonlee to win? I did, but would this be true in Generation 3 or other generations where they have abilities and other unique attributes? No way to know unless I do it. So maybe we'll do that another day. Until then, I want to give another big shout out to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Remember, you can sign up for War Thunder on console, PC, or mobile by clicking the link in the description or pinned comment, and you can see all the awesome bonuses you can get, both for new players and players who haven't played for 6 months. It's only available for a limited time, so don't forget to click. Take care, everyone.